Welcome to Intimacy Evolution, the podcast that helps you enjoy deeper connection and more intimacy in your relationships. I'm Brianna Carey, relationship and intimacy coach, and together with my husband Mark, a licensed professional counselor, we're here to help couples create the relationships they crave. Relationships evolve over time, and that's okay. Let's talk about it. Here we are. So we had a few ideas for episodes that we were going to record today, and then we were starting to have conflict. So we decided to record our active conflict for you, IRL, so you can hear how we navigate this. We can give examples, we can talk about things, and then it's also like different when you get to see an example play out. And so here we are.
We'll see if this is an example or not. I don't know what's going to happen.
If we need to take a pause.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
Yeah. So let's give a little background of what has built up for us this morning. So starting off, it is Sunday. The kids had a sleepover last night. We had free time. We had a few things on our agenda for the day.
Yeah, we set a schedule, kind of a plan for today to use our time to get a couple things done.
Yeah.
And part of that was recording a podcast.
Yes.
And I feel a lot of tension, a lot of anxiousness, and there's definitely some frustration. And so, yeah, here we are.
Yeah, I have a lot of annoyance, irritation, and I feel it kind of as a ball kind of in the pit of my stomach almost. And I just feel like a noise I would give it would be like a,
Yep, I feel the same. That's what I feel. And
I know it's silly. Giving you a lot of stuff that we use when we're working with clients and stuff like that, even our kids. And so we literally use this in our daily lives is okay, what are you feeling? Can you name it? Does it have a sound? Whatever. And so that is all of the stuff we're sharing with you so you can learn as we continue.
Yeah, and mine's definitely a similar but it's bigger. I think it's longer. I don't know.
You always got to one up me, Mark.
No, it's not that. It just feels no, I'm saying this because I don't know why, but it feels elongated, it's
yeah
I don't know.
I hear that. And I also want to name what I just did was called a bid for connection. I made a joke about Mark always needing to one up me. That's an inside joke with us. And so in the moment, we're already working towards repair.
Well, that feels really nice that you said that. And it's a complicated thing for me because
it doesn't take away the other feelings that I have right now, but it's yeah.
Yeah, you're I love how you name that as bid for connection 100%. And what's fascinating is and we've never had this conversation, is there's also a little bit of it's a bid for connection, and I feel, what's the word? I feel a little guilt when you make that joke. Aww. Because I don't want to. I don't want to one up you. I don't want to try that. I'm trying to, in that moment, I was actually trying to relate.
Yes.
And so it's an interesting experience. I know your intent of it. So I'm also owning that guilt is my thing and not a your thing and not a relationship thing. That's right. Yeah, I don't know. It might be a little bit of it feels connected to masculinity, to a man thing, and get politically incorrect. What's a man? What's a woman? But anyways, this, in sports and one-upping each other, this ego battle, I have a level of disdain for that. So, yeah, I'm checking myself when you make that joke. And so it's just an interesting dynamic. And
Yeah.
and I hope to give the listeners depth of the complicated experience that we all have when a simple statement or is said because things of the past complicate the things of the now, the current. And so that's where I go with that. But it does feel really nice that you're bidding for connection, because the story I have, at least, is that I'm usually the one that like has to repair, or like gets to repair, I guess is a better way to say it. And so
Okay.
And
Thank
you have the face of disagreement.
As you were saying that, I was reflecting.
I do want. Okay, sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but I had one more thought. But
go ahead.
I think that much more like in our relationship now, you do that a lot more.
Yes.
Like early on in our relationship, I feel like that was very little.
Yes.
And so, like the super old part of our relationship's probably popping up there.
Yes, and that's exactly where I was going with it, is that I want to recognize in myself that I am definitely, I feel like it's more evenly distributed between who starts initiating repair now. But for sure, in the beginning parts of our relationship, I mean, gosh, probably for the first 8 years of our relationship even, I would not say sorry.
Yeah. That's a true statement.
Very delayed, and I would expect Mark to come to me and take ownership and responsibility for his part and everything, and then I would say like, okay. Like I would accept it and then move on, but I wouldn't take responsibility for where my participation in it.
I feel a level of like sadness right now.
Yeah. How do we make it this
not and it's not like sad. Maybe it's behind my eyes, because like I'm just so thankful that it does feel a lot more balanced, because I remember those times.
Yeah.
And it felt like I was coming back to you, and I had to like grovel or like do all this to like overdo and overtake responsibility beyond what was mine. And it does feel like I was like some people pleasing, like I had to do this to make the relationship work type of thing.
I feel like we could do an entire episode on just that particular piece of relationships, because we see that a lot with people that we work with or people that we know. Like we hear their stories and we're like, oh, well, like, you know, we have, again, done a lot of work to get to this point to acknowledge, take ownership, and then like have this. Yeah. So,
well, I want to do a live check-in now. How are you feeling?
Definitely a little bit like more at ease.
Yeah, me too.
And I want to say too, like I want to let the listeners know, or if you're watching on YouTube, this is how we have conflict a majority of time now. Like how we're presenting and just speaking, it's not face. Like this is not just because we're in front of a screen or talking to you that we're not expressing fully how we normally would. Like, no, this is how we have conversations. Now, just about 5 minutes ago, there was a little bit more tone, a little bit more heat behind it, for sure, and we're going to get into it.
Yeah, and there could have been...
But again, there was like, we're talking, and we're not yelling, and we're not like belittling.
Yeah, so. and if you're yellers, that's fine too. I mean, there's no judgment there. There was definitely more fire, and there could have been...
could have escalated
a lot more. And so thank you for being here for us and being our therapist today. You know, just there's some level of going into it, expression, reflection, all of that we're doing right now that we normally do. And it's been really nice.
Yeah.
So,
and again, we're going to give you a little bit more like behind the scenes of, the explanations like we already have, like you've already, so that way you understand how we're getting to these points. So again, this morning we were kind of like,
let's just go two perspectives, your perspective and then my perspective. Does that work for you?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were talking this morning about like, how are the rest of our days going to go? I was enjoying, so my perspective, I woke up, I slept in a little bit. I enjoyed a little bit more of a slower morning, had my tea, read my book, made my breakfast, had my coffee. You were done with what you were doing. You came in. I was kind of like jazzed up about some stuff because I was listening to a great podcast, and it like coincides with the book that I'm reading. So I'm reading Hunt, Gather, Parent, and I was listening to Culture Apothecary on homeschooling or the Acorn School. And so I was listening to that and just like really excited since that's where we're at in our journey right now. And I was sharing with him. And then as I'm sharing, it starts bringing up some things that I've been experiencing lately. I guess with my father-in-law. I don't know if I'm just going to be completely open. So things that I've been experiencing with my father-in-law in relationship to us homeschooling.
Yeah.
So he, it's a generational thing. I understand. It's also a concern thing. He cares for the kids. He wants what's best for them as well. And, when I'm talking about unschooling or whatever, he doesn't understand the concept. It's totally fine. However, he'll make passive aggressive or slighted comments in my presence, and it's starting to get to me a little bit. And I'm okay with him not agreeing with our decision. I'm not okay with the commentary. Like if you want to ask questions and better understand, great. And then what ultimately came from that was, I'm concerned about what he might be saying in the presence of our children when I am not there about our decision to homeschool. And so it's, kind of a protective mama bear thing. And I was talking to Mark about how I want to make sure I implement some boundaries starting now. So we're not having to backpedal and be like, well, I've been doing this the whole time, blah, blah. And so it's easier to establish that boundary now as we begin, and letting him know this is not acceptable in my book. Please don't say anything to our children. If you have questions or concerns, bring that to us. When I'm sharing about things that I am very deeply passionate about and care a lot about, I tend to have a little bit more feistiness. Mark used the word prickly this morning. Very prickly when I'm saying this. And so he can share his perspective with it, but how my process is that expressing it in that way is allowing that angst or that angry energy to move through. I get to say it to him because he's my safe space, because I'm not upset with him. But I get to get that stuck energy out in that way before I actually have the conversation with a person I do want to speak to. And I'm not going to speak to him and be all prickly, but I am going to be firm and just open the conversation like, hey, there's been a couple of instances, I know that you don't understand what we're doing or necessarily agree with it, but I would love to answer any questions you have, but please make sure those are always directed to me or Mark and not our kids. Simple. That's basically what I was trying to convey to Mark.
Yeah.
So this is where it all began, because Mark and I are now kind of starting this, we have this tension starting. So your perspective.
So yeah, there's some stories that I'll kind of take ownership of. And for me, it gets this way. These are commonalities. And so, made a plan, woke up this morning. I'm like, you're like, hey, wake me up at 7:00 with you. I try. And then I kind of get the like pushback, like, leave me alone. I want to sleep. And so I'm like, okay, we're going to do this first. Now I'm going to go do this, get this thing knocked out. And so I go start working on the garage, kind of cleaning some stuff out, moving some stuff. And you're having a slower morning. And so sometimes the story that I was kind of like, okay, well, how does this impact the day? What does our schedule look like? We always have a lot to do. And so I'm feeling a little angst in myself about getting things done. We want to watch a football game today with family. Our kids will be coming home. We need to record a podcast. There's always business stuff to do. There's always house stuff to do. It's a never-ending thing. I imagine most of you know how this is. So we start this conversation. Yeah, I reflecting back, I wasn't in the same energetic space as you. Because I'm just doing tasks. Like, I'm just like, doing my task. And that's when I approached you like, hey, kind of reevaluating the schedule is what my attempt was. And you started telling me about this, and I love hearing about it. And I get stuck in this position of like, okay, what does my partner need here? She probably just needs me to listen, but I'm also feeling some tension and some other stuff that is like similar that I've felt before, the prickliness, this and that. And I'm like, okay, there's just some stuff going off on my like radar. You know, you're not a client of mine, you're my partner, but at the same time, I just want to highlight the fact that a lot of the conflict or whatever's happening with homeschooling or whatever is definitely ignorance, not intent in some negative way. And I don't like to see you hurting because you feel like it's criticism and you're feeling a little defensive about it, mama bear. Yeah. And so as the person that it's my dad, my wife, I just want everyone to get along and understand each other. And it comes back to the fact that like a lot of people, a lot of generations, people I work with, they don't express what they really mean. And that's like, hey, I'm worried that they're not getting what they need at homeschool, or I'm worried. And he said some of this stuff before, you know, the stereotype stuff. I'm worried he won't get
that they're going to fall behind,
or that they're not going to get to spend time with friends. And no one wants that, you know, socially awkward homeschool kid that's like played out in everything you hear. Right. And so, the inability to communicate effectively. And then my wife's over here prickly and defensive. And I'm like, well, none of these are great things. Like, how do we move towards communication? And so I was sitting there and I'm listening and I'm like, I want to push back a little bit. I want my wife to own what her experience is. And at the same time, how willing am I to get into conflict with her right now over this? Right, because then I'll be accused of taking his side, and
that's the story you're telling yourself.
Well, that is true, and those are things I've heard in some roundabout way. Okay. That I don't have hard conversations or enough hard conversations with my parents, or that I don't hold a line as hard as you would, or something like that. Those are things I've heard. Yeah. All right. And so I'm navigating this conversation and saying, okay, this is how I feel. This is what's happened to me. It feels a little prickly. It feels a little defensive. And she's like, well, yeah, like, and that's not how I'd have the conversation, which is totally true. I believe that 100%. So, yeah, what from there?
Yeah. So you left to go take stuff to a storage unit. I went upstairs to shower, get ready for the day. And again, I really took time for myself in the shower. Just like, I didn't do the quick shower, just like to hurry up. Like, I allowed myself to kind of reset from that experience energetically and just really nourish myself. And just, you know, I listened to meditation music in the shower. I had a lot of stuff coming through. I was feeling very excited and recalibrated to jump into the podcast when we were ready. And I'm going through, I'm doing my makeup, and I don't know if you're back or not, and it's been a little bit, and so I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then I see you sitting in the office just like kind of like scrolling on your phone, and I'm like, what are we doing? Like, you didn't tell me you were home, you didn't like tell me what the plan was with the kids, because the last I knew, the kids were going to be coming home at some point before we go watch the football game. But like, what time is that? Do we have? So I'm like starting to like go through all these things. I'm like, okay, like this isn't being communicated. You're just sitting on your phone. Like we talked about also like doing these things to the house today, and like that's not being done while I'm finishing getting ready. So these kind of like, again, stories and expectations that we didn't necessarily line out. So now I'm back to being annoyed. And then your perspective.
Yeah. So I came home, bathroom shut. Don't know what's happening in there. Just let her have her space.
Which I appreciate.
I go to the bathroom. Apparently at some point I was told that you said my name and you thought I heard you. That didn't happen. Came in the office, moved some stuff around to start podcast. I looked at my phone. Typically in the morning, I do this thing where, and sometimes it's an era of conflict, but I'll get on Facebook. There's several dads groups that I try to get back to with like free connection, free advice, free like response of just attending to these relationships, and there was a dad that said something like, my partner's 10 months postpartum. She's struggling with depression. She's saying things like, hey, I don't want to be here. You guys would be better off without me. And I gave a response, asked some questions, and I was kind of looking and responding again. And I think there's a lot of stories around that. But anyways, so that's kind of what I was doing on my phone and kind of waiting for her to finish up. And my story was that I didn't know this. She's resetting in the shower. She's feeling good. I'm thinking that we need to get things done and that the timeline's going to move faster than it is. And so I'm just kind of, there's this thing. I just feel idle. I feel like I'm waiting on her, and then she comes in. There's a song
about that.
Yeah. And then she comes in, like, giving me a look and frustrated that I'm on my phone, and I'm like, dude, you've been in the bathroom. You've been getting ready for like an hour and a half. Like what? An hour. Like, I'm not the holdup is what I was saying to myself. Like, come on. And so then we're back to frustrated. And we had things we were going to do on the house today. Mm-hmm. Not me by myself.
No.
I know, but you just said a minute ago, like there's things.
Yeah, you could have got you ended up taking the laundry out and started folding. Like, why weren't you doing that earlier?
I didn't realize it was in there. I didn't realize I had shirts that needed to be hung up that were in there. Typically, you can give me all these looks, but typically, like, you throw stuff in there to de-wrinkle it that you're gonna wear today, and then I was like, oh crap. I have shirts in there. We have actual clothes in there that have been sitting there for a few days. They're going to be wrinkly as hell. And so that's what prompted me to pull out the laundry. Mm-hmm. So this definitely runs into some other stories where around the house, I have to take care of my stuff and I have to help take care of our stuff. And so it feels like double the work sometimes. Because the garage is my domain, even though 90% of the stuff in the garage is not mine.
No. Okay, so the kids too.
Yes, not yours, but ours. There's books, there's kids' toys, there's bikes, there's my stuff as well. Yes, but there's stuff for the office, there's a Cricut, there's your stuff too, and
we haven't fully unpacked.
You're 100% correct.
So let's put that out there.
You're 100% correct. But this is, we have keepsakes and other stuff. every house we've ever been in, there is extra stuff in my quote unquote my area that I have to manage. Plus the stuff in our area. Right?
Okay.
Would you disagree?
I don't know.
She might be disagreeing. I don't know. So that is like a personal struggle that I have sometimes. So when it comes to us doing stuff for the house, it's like, okay, I did stuff that I'm solely responsible for.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to do stuff that we're responsible for and get all this other stuff done. And so I think to summarize that is we're just in much different places.
Yeah.
And there wasn't communication, and I don't know that there was space for communication.
Yeah.
Because in that moment, like, it would be unlikely that we would recognize that we're in different spaces.
Right.
Now, reflecting back, we can look at it.
See
but
that.
How would you know that in the moment?
Right.
Right.
And so I really I just want to zoom out for a second and I really like how we're doing this and sharing each of our perspectives because that is exactly what happens during conflict. You each are having your own individual experience, and until you have had enough or clash, you don't understand what each person's perspective was. You just assume that they're kind of along the same journey or the timeline as you. And that's not the case. And so just really highlighting this part for you because conflict is inevitable. It's going to happen. It's how do you communicate and move through it and repair and get to the other side and connect again.
Yeah. And so what is left unsaid, untalked about, unfelt right now for you?
So I was gonna take it to the last part.
Okay, there's the last part.
Yeah, the last part when we were in the bathroom, and I definitely am an energetic. I feel energy very intensely. We've kind of, I feel like we've mentioned this before, but I don't know if we did actually.
We have somewhere. I don't know if it's been on the podcast.
Anywho, there was a situation.
I know it's in Powerful Partnership, I think, is where we talk about it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel energy. And when I name it, it doesn't always come across as, it almost for Mark, because he said this, I'm not just projecting, has said it feels a little invasive.
Yeah, it can be.
And so it got to that point. I'm in the bathroom still trying to get ready. He's moving around. He's now brought the laundry into the room. He's folding the laundry.
Getting ready at the same time.
He's getting ready. Yeah. He's walking behind me because you walk through the bathroom to get to the closet. And so he's walking, and I just feel like this, and he's not acknowledging me or anything. And so I just say, I'm like, what is going on? There's some blocked energy right now that I'm feeling from you. What's happening? What's going on with you right now? And this is where it came out, and he just looks at me and, we start to have it's a little prickly. It's a little feisty, fiery. It's a little the tension is really building. And, what did you say? You said, what did you say in the moment?
I said something about it's always from me.
Yeah. So then I'm
yeah. Yeah, so I have some defensiveness there. And because I felt criticized, sometimes I feel like, I shouldn't say that. Here's a good tip. I'm about to say a thought, and I said it feels like, and it's not a feeling. So the thought is that you focus on my energy and you don't say much about your energy. Because I was feeling a frustration and anger from you, and you wanted to point out the stuckness in me, but not talk about what you were feeling.
Yeah.
And so that's where my defensiveness came from. And she's completely right. I felt stuck because what was playing in my mind is we've done this before, where we've tried to record a podcast. We're not quite clear on what we're recording. We have frustration around our schedule or going into it somehow. We're a little disconnected. And the third variable that I haven't brought up yet that is part of all this is where you're at in your cycle. When you're in this spot in your cycle, it gets more prickly. That's just what it does. Like that's the hormones, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I knew those 3 things going into this. We were probably going to come in here and start recording, and then you were going to say, it ain't working, it's not working, stop it. And then we have to restart. And what I was actually thinking, I was feeling stuckness around that. And what I was devising in my head was when we got in here to say it out loud, to call it out and say, how do we get aligned? How do we feel good together right now to have this podcast?
Yeah.
And then you called it out in there, and I didn't get to do any of that. And I got defensive, and I apologize for that. I love you so much. And, I do. I feel a lot of love for you right now.
Yeah. I was thinking that too.
So, yeah, I think that's, and here we are.
Yeah. So my perspective, I'm feeling the block, the stuckness on his side. On my end, I was feeling like confused, like, okay, what is happening? Like some uncertainty. And so naming this again, zooming out, like you might feel this when you're, you feel the tension, you feel the energy of your partner, and you're not sure why, that uncertainty. Then we start to create stories and make it more than what it is. And so I've practicing connecting with your partner. Like, now in my mind, I also say like, gosh, I'm such a good partner. I'm so attuned to your feelings. Like, oh my gosh, you're so lucky. That I am. Like, and again, me naming it in the specific. And so I did. I finally said, okay, how else do you want me to present this information to you? Because I feel this. I want to name it. I'm trying to connect. What is a better way I can do this? And like, that's kind of the tone I said it. It was, again, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
It was very like abrasive. But I'm also like pleading, like, how can I do this better in the future?
She's saying help me, but that's buried behind the look, the frustration, the tonality, the signs to me that she's challenging me to come up with a better way. And if I don't have a better way right in the moment, then the way she did it was the best. And therefore, like, that's and I'm like, wait a second, like this. And so to answer that question, because I want to answer that question you asked, the best way is you're completely right. And I want you to say how you're feeling first. This is how I go first. Okay. If you want to point out something that's not quite a question, because it was definitely like it was you better go first, because I open up, and I think people open up.
Okay, so here's my redo. Something along the lines of like, hey, I am feeling some confusion and some uncertainty and angst right now. How are you feeling? Like that?
Yeah, that works. Yeah. And I would tell you the things already said. We've been in a similar space, and I'm concerned that we're going to go in to do this podcast, and we're going to have conflict. So I want to know how we're going to connect, because we feel disconnected right now. It feels like you have some frustration towards me. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I'm feeling. How do we navigate this and come back together? And yeah.
Yeah.
And I really want to make a joke right now, but I see the moisture in my wife's eyes.
I don't think I've ever.
Well, tears, but it's not really tears. Yeah.
Okay.
Liquid, fluid.
The sparkle of my, I don't know. The precipitation in my Yeah. So in that moment when we were like having that, we were like at our peak, and I was like, take it to the mics. Like, let's go do how to navigate conflict IRL, because I think there's going to be some really good stuff in this. And if not, like, at least we had the conversation we needed to have anyways. So here you go.
Yep. And in that moment, I was like, yep, we probably should. And I don't want to.
I could feel so much resistance. He's like, no. And so I just want to acknowledge you for pushing past that discomfort and being a good sport and being sport. Here. I feel much better.
Yeah, me too. I feel so much better. There are a couple things I want to mention.
Yeah.
One, I want to say this because I felt it. I did have a story, and it doesn't really matter now because I want to say this. I am glad I was able to move from this story because it's a space that I've tried to move from. It's frustration and like resentment around sex. At one point I had a story of like, oh yeah, that was supposed to happen too, but the things I want are always the back burner and they don't happen. And but within like a minute or two like that, I was like, no, that's not even part of this. And so I actually am patting myself on the back because I feel really good about moving out of that space because I was creating more stories to be upset about.
Yes.
So,
yeah, and I think that's pretty common.
Yeah.
For people when you're already like elevated in frustration, annoyance, whatever that may be, then we start remembering or creating more stories around why that is like your feelings are acceptable or like continue to like build upon it and then get yourself really worked up rather than just like.
And what's hidden there is that physical touch is my love language. And so what I was really saying is I'm missing this. I want more of this. And so the desire's hidden in the conflict and then the stories we create. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out and, feel good about myself for moving from that story and say that sometimes that does happen. And in my part of our relationship is I feel like my wants and needs get put on the back burner, but I think that's somewhat common for most people. I think you would probably feel that way. I think parents feel that way. Sometimes we put the kids before ourselves or so.
Yeah, and I think we've said this kind of phrasing before, but when you notice you start having a lot of resentment coming up, like you said, what is the desire underneath that? Like, what is that actually telling you? Like, you have resentment towards your partner because, so our example would be like, oh, Mark's gone out and had a few coffee dates with some friends this week. And then he went and spent 3 hours mountain biking. And then he's working in the garage and I'm expected to be taking care of the kids while he's doing it. And so if I'm layering all of these things and I start to feel resentment about it, what's really the underlying issue is I would like some time for myself.
Yeah.
I haven't been putting my needs, I haven't been expressing that I need some time for myself. That's really what it is. And so communicating that, like make some non-negotiables at least once a week or twice a week. And that's what I was actually thinking about in the shower today. And yes, where I'm at in my cycle, definitely luteal, right on the verge of like starting my period is like, my body is wanting to hibernate and I move slower, and I have really implemented like listening to my body when it is wanting to move slower. It's for a reason. It's not because I'm being lazy, and I know where I'm at in my cycle. And so I know that this is, so I'm like, yeah, I'm going to really just again, I didn't communicate that with you.
Yeah.
That's why I was more tired. I wanted to sleep in. Like, I just wasn't feeling that, like, get up and go energy. And so, I think I was saying something that was in relation to, now my brain fog is kicking in.
Well, you were talking about the stories you tell and the desire underneath the conflict.
Oh yeah. So like just having your non, like, have one day a week. And so that's what I was thinking about, is like that. Yeah. You're non-negotiable. So like I have at least one day a week where I have I pamper myself in the shower. I do the body scrubs and the extra lotions and just like really pamper myself. Like, if I get a day during the week to do that as well, like a day when like Mark doesn't have as many calls and stuff, and then I can do that during the week too. Like I definitely take that opportunity. But what can you do for yourself to help make sure that we're not having that resentment start to build up?
Yeah.
And you're just taking care of yourself. Like, you need that time.
Yeah. And it's easy for me to start building resentment too. Like, you need to go slower. Great. I knew where you were in your cycle. That doesn't mean I know every aspect. Like, I didn't put together slower.
Right.
That means I could have actually carved out more time for myself.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is universal, but for me at least, the process of waiting is hard. I'm kind of a doer.
Right.
Our human designs are different.
Yes.
And
if you don't know human design, I highly recommend you looking up, because it makes a difference. Just understanding how you navigate life and interact. I'm a manifesting generator. Mark is a generator, so a doer. I'm kind of a sit with it and then do. And there's, again, so much more to it. But understanding your partner's human design, your human design, just makes sense. So, yeah, he's always like, wakes up and is ready to go. And I'm like, let's just not.
Well, there's also a lot of reasons why that is. Like right now, like this is the first time that the trails have been dry since we've got back from the cruise, and I haven't rode my bike. And so there's always like this and that and like things I'm thinking about. And this week was hectic, man. It felt hectic.
Yes.
It didn't feel like we had a lot of time. It didn't feel like I had a lot of time.
Yes.
And leaving the house is a little different now since we're homeschooling.
Yeah.
You know, if I needed to take a meeting outside the house, or I wanted to do work outside the house, because I'm just a better version of myself when I'm in community. Everywhere I go, I impact people. That's something that I love about myself. And but now to go work outside the house, it's not like, oh, you're working at home and I'm working here. It's fine. It's like, no. There's a lot more intention around schedule. And so we're still trying to get the hang of it. We're going to have at least another month before we actually get the hang of it. I realize that. Yeah. You're like a much longer. Okay.
At least another month, but to kind of find a rhythm. You know, again, like we talked in the last one, like trip and then sickness. And then this was the first week that we were really trying to kind of do some stuff. I'm a support coach for another coaching program. So I started all of my one-on-one calls this week, which is different. And so there were just a lot of extra pieces in trying to navigate things. And, you know, it comes down to, we just didn't communicate as strongly this week and really like set ourselves up for success, I guess.
Yeah. I would say we could say we didn't communicate strongly. And it's true that this week was more hectic than...
Yes, it is both. It is both.
It is both.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it is both. And I think it just kind of came to a head today. And
we'll see what tomorrow has in store. Because that's the thing, you know, we can have conflict today, tomorrow, the next day, and then none for a little bit. It's normal. It'll happen.
Yeah.
And so thank you again for being here with us as we navigate this.
Definitely. Thank you for listening. Hopefully this was helpful and maybe you resonated with it. Maybe it gave you some insight on how you can navigate conflict in your relationship and bring more awareness to how each person shows up in conflict, and how you can navigate that differently. Please email us or DM us on Instagram. Let us know if you have questions or if you have things that come up and would like us to talk about, or we can help you and support you with that.
If you're like, my conflict sounds nothing like this.
Yeah.
The way we do conflict is not the only way.
Right.
It's what we found is best for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we've worked a lot on that. And
yes, it's a practice for sure.
Yeah. And so I encourage you, reach out. Our Powerful Partnership program is amazing.
Yeah.
Let's make it better. Let's figure out,
Yeah, your conflict style. Like how do you navigate conflict? Because again, every couple, every person is different. And once we have a deeper understanding of how we do that, then it makes like the repair process a lot easier. So
yeah. And there's a lot of universal things around conflict resolution, communication, intimacy, connection, all that type of stuff. So
yeah. Anything else?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week.
Bye.